going on.
We never know how to do this.
We never planned it.
But we do know that we both want to drive this, much like the past two cars we've taken out.
Yes,
That
very
have also
much
been silver 2 doors.
Yep.
2 doors. So,
And instead of sitting here and spending a minute and a half playing rock, paper, scissors for 3 rounds, that last round took a while.
Okay.
We're going to do one shot. One shot, the winner gets to drive first.
all right.
All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I win every time. Big shout out to Tap Motors here in Owensboro, Kentucky for giving us today's car that we're going to review. You can find them online at tapmotors.com. Look for the link in the description. Welcome to Get to Know Cars. I'm Chris, and today we're going to show you the 2022 3-liter Toyota Supra. And we'll jump right in under the hood. Massive filling hood that it is, but I have to say, when I was opening it, I love that there's no stupid latch or anything. You pull the hood release inside the car twice and the hood comes right up. I think that's fantastic. We are looking at the inline 6 3-liter. This has a single turbo on the engine, and it is powering this 8-speed automatic, and it's going to push out 382 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque, which is a pretty good figure for what is a pretty small car. So I think it's going to be pretty fun to drive when we get it out here in a little bit. It's very clean under here. I think the hood cover, or the engine cover I should say, is rather large, so you can't really see much of anything else, but it is nice and clean under here, and it's just unbelievable how massive this hood feels. And even just driving the car from the other side of the lot to this side of the lot, just seeing how much hood is in front of you when you're driving this thing is quite astonishing. Go ahead, put that down. At the front, this is kind of my most debatable part of the car in terms of styling. It's the part that I've kind of questioned since they came out with this a few years ago. Overall, I do think it looks fantastic, starting with these LED headlights. You kind of have the 3 jewel looking kind of headlights. I think they look fantastic with your strip right here, which goes past the main headlight casing and comes in here pointing toward the nose. I think that actually looks fantastic. Got our badging on the front. We have our functional grille here. The lower portion of your vents up here is going to be functional. The top portion is going to be fake. And that's going to be one of the saddest reports on these cars, is that there is quite a bit of fake venting. And I think at this price point, with a starting MSRP of around $52,000 for this one, I think that's just a little tough to get over. I wish they'd put more actual functioning vents on the vehicle, but you got fake ones here and you have fake ones right here. Now the placement of these, I think it makes the car look cool, but it would have been nice if they could have directed some cooling for the braking. You got a nice splitter on the front, looks fantastic. The curves of this car all over are just absolutely stunning, gorgeous, and help with the aerodynamics of the vehicle. Right here at the wheels, we have our 19-inch aluminum rims. These are 2-tone split spokes. They look absolutely fantastic, and these are rocking the Michelin Pilot Super Sports. You got 255s on the front and 275s on the back. We have another fake vent right here on the hood. This would have especially been nice if this could have actually been functional to allow for some cooling. Got your blacked out mirrors with your turn signal indicator built in, which looks fantastic, especially right next to your pillar here being black. This is a gloss black. This is a little bit more of a matte. Still looks fantastic. Another fake vent right through here. Again, it looks fantastic, but would have been nice if we could have directed some airflow. We do have lock and unlock on the car, which is nice. Actually, I'm sorry, it's right here. Get your lines in there, and then that's how you'll lock and unlock it. It gives you a nice beep when you lock and unlock, which is very nice. 2 beeps for unlock, 1 beep for lock. Got our side skirt along the bottom, which I think the black skirt with the silver, I think it looks fantastic. Coming around to the back, The side and the back of this car are my favorite features of the car, with the back being my absolute favorite. We have some more fake venting where we could have been directing some airflow out here, but instead it's just fake, but it looks really good. We've got absolutely stunning looking LED tail lights, absolutely phenomenal. We got your rear diffuser down here. We got dual exhaust, which actually sounds really good being the stock exhaust for this car. It looks fantastic and sounds good, and I really like these backup lights, how they're individualized. I think those are really unique design just for a backup light. They didn't have to put too much love and care into it, but I think they really did, and I think this is absolutely really cool. My biggest complaint at the back, because in terms of styling it looks fantastic, I like the integrated rear wing right here into the rear hatch, but you're not going to find any button to pop open the hatch. You are going to have to use your key fob, and we all know it because the car's been out for, I guess, what, three years or so now, that a lot of the components here, including the engine and many of the things you'll see on the inside, are BMW, and the key is certainly no exception. It is a BMW key. It looks basically the same exact shape that my 2017 5 Series was. Biggest difference, there's a Toyota badge on the back, but other than that, this key is a lot more plastic than an actual BMW key, where you're gonna kind of get that like brushed aluminum-like look. It's more metallic, heavier in the hand, feels more high quality. This is a little bit cheaper, but overall, nice design. We'll go ahead and pop the trunk here. Pop that rear hatch. A decent amount of space. I like that they give you the cover here. It's not bad, but we just reviewed the Toyota GR86 about 2 weeks ago, and what we were able to determine, because it has back seats that actually fold flat down, that you could have actually slid a couple of golf bags in there. Unfortunately, with this car, that is not going to be a possibility. So the 86 actually wins when it comes to that type of practicality. But this is still a sufficient amount of storage, and you'll also notice in here is this metal piece right here. This is actually a brace. This is a functioning brace for the rear end of the car. So it looks cool. It is actually metal, and it's functional. That's a nice little added feature about it that not all car reviews may point out. Biggest thing looking for the car from the back or the front is Toyota, the double bubble roof on the Supra, which is pretty cool. It's supposed to help with the aerodynamics, but it also gives you extra headroom on each side if you're going to be driving this and wearing like a racing helmet. So it does help with headroom on the inside, and it looks pretty cool. I just can't get over the curves on this car. It was one of my favorite parts on the 86, and it carries over to the Supra, and that's this rear fender flare. It is absolutely gorgeous. Just all the curves on this thing are stunning. The only thing that the Supra didn't do that the 86 did, we do just have a circular fuel door on this one, where the 86 had more of a cool, kind of almost more like egg type shape, and you are going to have a cap for that. We do also have our blind spot indicators right here in the mirrors that will light up when someone's in your blind spot, which is also a really cool touch. And welcome to the interior of the 2022 GR Supra. Here at the door panel, not a lot going on. You got enough, sufficient room for your arm. Really like the door handles here. I think they look nice, they feel nice, they're sturdy. That's good. You got your lock and unlock your window and mirror controls. You got a couple of speakers. This car does have a 10 speaker system in it. And actually, if we can get our wonderful cameraman to pan back here, if you can see them, there's actually two larger speakers here in the back that we did not show when I had the rear hatch open, but there are a couple of those in the back, which is a nice touch. They look nice, and they should provide some a better sound experience. The next thing, and it's probably one of my favorites on the interior, as it was on the 86 as well, with this model particularly, we're looking at the Alcantara and leather mix, similar to what we saw on the 86, except this is a different design. We have this nice chrome looking piece here. Of course, it is plastic, of course, but It is a nice touch, gives it a nice sporty, more high-end feel as a car that costs base price probably about $22,000 more than the base price of the premium 86. It should feel more premium in here, and it does. Getting in, yet again, I find myself saying it, and I know I'm gonna get comments that are like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it, just like I did on the 86, but I'm sorry. I think the steering wheel is just too thin. I would rather it be a little thicker. However, I can understand it in this car because I actually feel like this car on the inside, it just feels small in here. You know, I've got long legs, so my legs are almost touching the steering wheel. So if they had made it much thicker, it could have made it even worse in terms of how it feels space-wise in here. We do have, you know, manual controls on the steering, so I can actually raise that up to give myself a little bit more leg room, which is nice, easy to use. Not a big fan of the steering wheel design. It's just, there's really nothing special about it, but it's functional. And that's really all you need. We've got good size paddles on each side. We got up and we got down. These are clearly also from BMW because these are pretty much almost exactly or probably exactly like the ones I had on my 2017 5 Series, and I really like them on the back because they've got some rubber on the back, which I love that. I hate it when manufacturers put paddles on their steering wheel and the back is just plastic. I like a little bit of grip, and these are nice. In the center, we got our tack right here, which is physically fixed, kind of giving it more of a sporty feel, and then everything else is going to be digital. I'm a little conflicted on it because I like how sporty this looks, but I almost just wish it was just one solid screen, and then they could have configured it from there. But with the limited space they're working with, I get they went for the sporty look. Everything's there when you turn the car on, so I'm not really going to complain about that because I do actually think it's pretty cool. Moving out here a little bit, I love the look of the vents. They just carried the design straight across, as we're seeing in a lot of vehicles these days, whether they're sporty or just sedans, doesn't really matter. We're seeing that same concept. I still have to say I like the 86, the vents on the 86 a little bit better on the outside. They were kind of more of that, looked like they came from what, like an airplane or something. Pilot, yeah, they were actually pretty cool. Now they felt cheap on the inside, but they did look cool. This is more high-end. This is more classy feeling, which, let's face it, if you're going to spend this money on a car, you want that anyway. So I'm not really going to complain about that, but I did just want to point it out. We got an 8.8-inch touchscreen display right here. Nice and functional. You will obviously recognize the shape of the screen, the layout of the screen, from BMW's, from their iDrive system. It's very familiar to me. It's just a smaller screen than was actually in mine. We have physical buttons for radio controls, climate controls. I absolutely love that. It's easy to use. Everything right here in the center, this is all definitely BMW, from the gear selector to your whatever you would call this, your trackpad, your scroll wheel, whatever, which controls the screen. If you don't want to physically touch the screen and get fingerprints on it, that's what I did in my BMW all the time because I'm very picky about getting fingerprints everywhere. So all this is pretty much from that. Right here, we got some cup holders, which is nice, but the problem is this doesn't open up. There's no center little storage box here. This is fixed. And with the cup holders just right here in the open, you know, as a driver, I could probably keep my arm like this, but if I was a passenger and I wanted to use that, well, your arm's going to be in the cup holder. So I don't know about that design. It's more like the cup holders were an afterthought, but I mean, it is what it is. They're there. They're going to function for what you need. Minor complaint on that. All right, we do also have heated seats on both sides, which are going to give you 3 different heating levels, and we do have dual climate control, which is also a nice touch. You could pretty much expect those 2 features on a vehicle at this price point. The biggest downside is just the lack of storage, and I should have mentioned it when we were talking about the door panels, but the door panels, there's not much storage in these panels at all. You might you might be able to get a couple candy bars in there, and that's about it. And with there not being any storage in the center, there is actually just a little like cubby hole right here, which is nice that they gave us that. You could set a phone here or throw some keys in there, whatever would work for you. It, you know, thank you for at least giving us that, but I feel like we did get the bare minimum when it comes to storage. And our glove box is also pretty small. Even if we take out the owner's manual here, it's a very small glove box. So if you actually keep your owner's manual in there, you're not going to get much else. It's going to be a tight fit. But I'll say it now.
Seats are 14-way adjustable.
Seats are 14-way adjustable.
Bro.
Power seats. Yours is power 2, right? Yeah, because you just moved.
Yeah, I moved mine. Yeah.
So we got 14-way adjustable power seats. Didn't mention that earlier, but we do. Now it's time to take this thing for a drive, which is the most exciting part. So I will say before I drive it, I was so hyped for the 86 that we did a couple of weeks ago that when I did drive it, I just had it hyped up in my mind. I guess I thought it would feel faster. I knew the engine wasn't big, but I knew it was a small, lightweight car, so I thought it would feel faster than it did. So I ended up being disappointed, which is why I drew the conclusion that I did, and I gave it a 5 out of 10. Looking back, I think to be a little more fair to the car, I would actually give it about a 7 out of 10. Now, the Supra is not a car that's ever been on my radar to actually buy, and it's honestly never really been a car that I think they look cool. I appreciate that they exist, but I've never been like, whoa, that's so cool. So I'm really
I've always been a fan.
Curious to see how this drives.
For
325.
325.
325 miles on it. It's for sale now at Tap Motors. If you are interested in it, it is gorgeous, gorgeous car. I love how much of the hood you can see when you're in this. So much more than in the 86. Yes. And you can even see the little flares on each side. It's got the auto start stop feature, which we can turn off right there.
There we go. Easy enough.
Now, if this works like other BMWs, that should stay off. We'll have to test that. So don't let me forget that. I should have went right.
Yeah, you can go right here.
I will.
I, however, cannot see anything out the front.
Because you have a camera in front of you and the window sticker. Speaking of windows, you kind of have these sloping window design. So, you know, a lot of people in reviews do say it kind of feels small and claustrophobic because of that. But honestly, I'm gonna give it a pass because I think it's actually a really cool design. Yes, you kind of have to duck your head when you're getting in and out, but I'm okay with that. It's a small car. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah.
And plus, these windows are long, so your visibility isn't terrible, which is also nice. Now, I will say, just kind of casually getting up to speed, you can tell it's got a little bit of power. You can definitely tell.
It feels more comfortable than the 86 as a passenger.
That's good. This has adaptive variable sport suspension on it.
I can feel
so that should be kind of helping out with that. So that's another little perk you get with these. If I was going to buy one, they have a 2-liter, and then they have the 3-liter and the 3-liter premium. This is the 3, so this is kind of in the middle. The 3-liter would be what I would want, whether it's premium or this one. I think this one is sufficient. I like the seats. It's got heated seats. We've got our built-in navigation up here,
which is not Apple or Google Maps. But it is something.
But it does work. I mean, you know, I appreciated my iDrive navigation in my BMW, so it's really not a terrible system. I will say, I love the feel of this car. I feel like I'm riding higher. I feel like I'm riding a little higher than in the 86. Not saying that we are, but I just feel like we are. I think that's attributed to how much of the hood that we can see. I think you're right. I like the ride quality of this one better. Brakes are very responsive, even though these aren't like overly fancy ones. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Wow, okay. That was probably like a quarter throttle.
Which is probably good for you.
Wow. Yeah, this one's got some get up and go, that's for sure. I do want to use the paddles. So there we go. You just click the paddles to get that going. I definitely want to try it with those. I can definitely tell this is going to be a fun car. I can tell already. Not to say the 86 wasn't. I just think the 86 would be more. I think it'd be more fun at speed. Going through back curvy roads would be phenomenal because the 86 handles very, very well. I expect the same, if not better. Well, actually, correction. I expect this to even be better handling. But we're going to have the power with this. But it really comes down to each individual person's choice and budget. Is it worth over $20,000 more to get the power that this car will offer you?
They're both going to look good from the exterior.
Oh, God, yes. Yes.
Yeah,
big difference. Wow. Love it. And
almost Mustang feeling.
Almost. It just. You know, this doesn't have the power that a Mustang GT has, but being so light, I mean, this moves.
It pulls you, yeah.
It pulls you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love that it's rear-wheel drive, so if you want to go out and have fun, kick the back end out, I don't think you're going to have much problem doing that. We're not going to do it in this car. I can assure you, Tap Motors, we're not going to do it in this car. But that's impressive. Plus, this takes me back to my BMW days. The gear shifts with the paddles are smooth. They are instant. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I felt like with the 86, there was just a very itsy-bitsy delay. It wouldn't have deterred me from buying the car. Just that little itty-bitty delay. The only reason I wouldn't buy it is because it just didn't have enough acceleration for me. I get in that price point, you can't have those high expectations. It just wouldn't do it for me. Other than that, fantastic looking little car, and this is just that car on steroids. I love this.
Yeah.
Wow.
This car puts the 86 to shame.
This is fun. I mean, just half throttle. I mean, you're just booking it. So
cool.
We're on some kind of curvy roads. I mean, this car handles so well. I mean, these Super Sports are gripping they're gripping the pavement. I'm sorry, I'm just having so much fun, honestly. This takes me back to my Mustang GT days and my BMW days. Both were so fun to drive, and this just brings back that feeling. It brings back that feeling of what I don't have right now with my C-Class. And oh, this is such a blast. But this is fantastic. I'm really vibing with this car. I love it.
For me, the moment we rolled the car out and we saw those wheels and those tires, you just knew it wanted to be on the road.
It's one of those cars, it's so sad that you can't see the outside of it while you're driving it because it's gorgeous.
But when you look in the rearview mirror and you see that big weld out rear fender,
you can.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Try a couple downshifts see if we can hear them.
Ugh.
Yikes. Tough.
You been out here before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, you can hear them. You can hear the turbo. Oh, I love it. I love it.
I much prefer being in the driver's seat. I was actually talking about this on my podcast the other night.
Oh, were you?
Not this car specifically, but just being in the driver's seat.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like that either, and there's not a really good solution for that wind noise.
Well, I was gonna see
because of the shape of the even just one window does it. You get that helicopter effect.
Yeah, it's.
And I had seen that in other reviews as well. That is a downside to having the windows down in this car.
You might want to get the rain guards to see if that would help out any deflection. Because
I don't know if that would help a lot. I know someone had mentioned like maybe putting a windbreak in the car. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Disappointing.
It is.
Disappointing.
It is. We didn't do.
Well, I was gonna do that.
We didn't put it. We didn't put it in sport mode. You can definitely tell that the throttle response is increased as soon as you push that sport button. I just stole your thunder, didn't I?
You did.
Wow.
great spot in the shade.
Yeah, we'll stop
wide
here.
open.
We'll stop here.
Ugh.
I do want to test really quick while we're here. I'm gonna put the car in park. I'm gonna turn the car off. Open the door. Back in. Start the car. All right, and it does say the auto start stop is off.
Okay.
So the auto start stop will stay off when you turn it off. Thank you, thank you. That is a wonderful BMW feature.
To move my steering wheel, and it's in automatic.
It's in automatic.
Okay,
So
yeah,
these
yeah,
gear shifts we're
yeah.
hearing are the car doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
All
right.
Nice aggressive shifts like you want from sport mode.
I'm a big fan of.
Oh my god. The
Uh,
pull from this thing is incredible.
I'm a big fan of manual options whenever we can get them. On the steering wheel, manual option to move. Seats
Yeah.
are automatic, which is fine, but I would prefer it.
The downside to the automatic seat controls is that they're kind of tucked down in there between where
They
your
are.
side
They are
panel
pretty low.
is. So you kind of, if you have bigger hands, you might kind of struggle with those. Honestly, after driving this, I mean, yeah, you can feel the BMW in this car. This car is meant to drive and have fun in, and I love that.
Yeah.
So, out of 10.
Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're there
Oh,
yet.
you're still enjoying it?
We've mostly gone straight on my segments. So I haven't really gotten to see curvy roads where I can see ahead. It's got to be at least 2 to 3 more than the 86.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, looks alone, it has the 86 beat. Even though the 86 is fantastic looking, this one definitely has a beat in looks. It has a beat on interior styling. It's just like I said, a more classy, upscale interior. And the audio system, you got a better audio system in this. We got a JBL system in this. It's gonna up. What's the word? It's going to outdo the 86 in pretty much everything. But the biggest one is the power, because the 86 is going to be fun for handling and corners and stuff like that. This obviously is good at that.
The visibility is great too if you're not looking out. I haven't looked to my side yet, but
Right. Considering the shape of the window cutouts and just the fact that the front does seem small, your visibility still is actually pretty good. I will go ahead and say, I mean, I can look past a lot of the quirks in this car, the cup holders, the fact that this doesn't open.
It doesn't matter.
The skinny steering wheel and I'm not a fan of the steering wheel, but I think I can very comfortably give this car
8.5.
I was gonna say 8.5, if not 9. Yeah, I mean this is fantastic.
I would need a little bit more time with it to feel comfortable saying that this is
right. I'll go with you. I'll go 8.5. This is a fantastic car. Fantastic. So when we were in the 86, we both agreed that we had more fun as a passenger.
not even.
But right
close.
now, having already driven it, I want back in the driver's seat. Like I want my turn again.
Yeah, it's.
I loved it. I didn't actually think I would like this as much as it did, because, like I said, the Supra has just never been really on my mind. It's like, whoa, that's so cool. I was like, all right, it's cool, it's nice looking, but I don't know if I'd really want one. Now I'm kind of like, hey, I could enjoy this. Now with this, we're gonna get 22 city, 30 highway for MPG, which is a little shocking because it's not far off from the 86.
It's not.
And the 86 is so much smaller, but. I'd be fine with that. If you're gonna get a combined average of like 25 MPG,
I would never get that.
I wouldn't either. Not in this car. This car's fun. You're gonna keep that pedal down.
I would hate driving this on an interstate with cruise control.
Right. Yep.
Like, give me that side road next door.
Well, the big question: if you are gonna drive somewhere a little further, like 2 or 3 hours away, and you're gonna be driving on cruise, how comfortable is the car going to be? You know, because it is smaller and nearer. The seats
are very comfortable.
The seats feel pretty good, but it's hard to say. Are they still going to feel good 3 hours from now?
I think they're soft and squishy enough that they will.
It seems like it,
I want more bolstering. I want bigger.
I agree with you. I think they are bolstered pretty well, but a little bit more would be nice.
And you got your sensor.
You know, and let's face it, at the MSRP, not what most of these are selling for, but let's just say MSRP. Let's say I could buy this for $52,000.
I think you would have a car that you would be happy in your garage indefinitely. I don't think you're going to be getting. If you're buying this car, you're not looking at very expensive. You're not looking at $100,000+ for cars.
No. You're comparing this to, well, essentially like, you know, newer Mustang GTs. Maybe even with the performance packs on them, you know, that are somewhere around maybe $45,000 to $60,000, just depending on what options are on them.
Would you take this over the performance package Mustang that we drove? Because that's a hard question. I like the look and the feel. I like the smallness of this. Yeah. But you don't have a back seat.
Right.
This is fun, but it is highway pulls. That Mustang is going to be.
That Mustang was
is great. Backcountry roads.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Let's say
the same price.
No, let's put it this way. Yeah, I was gonna say it would come down to price.
Let's say they're the same exact price.
Well, I was gonna say if let's just say the Mustang was like at least $5,000 cheaper than this, I would easily go with the Mustang all day. If they're the same price, I would have to think about it. I honestly think I'd go with the Mustang. Now, if you could get this a little bit less than the Mustang, I would go with this, no question about it. It would come down to price.
If this was the 86 all day, every day.
Yeah. But this can't be the 80s. The 86 exists in its own price category. It's very different car. Similar, but very different.
We need to drive the car that's next to us.
The Miata.
Is a third generation Miata.
I think it's a 2020, actually.
And we need to get into that, but I really like this. This is a great car for me.
It's a great car for me too. Absolutely.
It's a great car. What would make this car a little bit nicer for me is if we had 1 or 2 roof windows with a very dark tint.
Or make it kind of like Corvette does, where we could pop it out. Maybe you could do like a glass one, a T-top or something. Yeah. That would be really cool. Yeah. If you could actually pop the top out of this and just get that natural air.
Because you're not driving with the windows down in this.
No, you can't.
You're not going to do
You can if you're going, as we were noticing, at maybe 30 to 40 miles an hour. You get to like 55 and up, and you're going to get that helicopter effect, and it's going to drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to work. But yeah,
I could stay here for another hour, but
I could too.
We will leave you at this.
It's a new car with very low miles. They didn't want us to put a lot on it, so this is our first time getting to review a car from this lot, so we really appreciate the opportunity, and we look forward to making more videos with Tap Motors and, of course, Bruce Woodring as soon as they get something that sparks our interest.
And if you are a car lot near the Owensboro area...
Henderson, Evansville, heck, I'll even say Nashville.
Louisville, Nashville, yeah. We will travel for fun.
Yep, absolutely. So, we would love to make a review and give your dealership a shout out and some free promotion.
Yeah. Drive it like you stole it. Take traction control off. And don't put it in the side of the road.
Well, I think this is where our tagline, or whatever you want to call it, really applies to this car. Stay safe, have fun, and put that pedal down.
Gently. Because this car
just ease
will
into
let you know.
Because it'll go. Yeah. It'll go. We'll see you next time.